Welcome back everyone to Let's Build the Ultimate Resort and Planet Coaster 2. This game has gotten some phenomenal updates and I am so excited for its future. It's bright, it's beaming, and I have so much in store for us to build this episode. This resort is about to take off, but the very first thing we're going to do is build a centerpiece for the lobby, something that's really eye-catching that people can look at when they're waiting in line to check in for their rooms. And I'm gonna use a new feature that Planet Coaster 2 added that I haven't talked about yet, that I didn't discover until I was watching some videos on the game. But they added this new piece that's a rotational moving piece. And they have a couple more, one that goes up and down and left and right. And you can kind of build your own animatronics. You can connect scenery pieces to this or entire buildings, and it'll move in the specified way. So what I plan to do is I'm gonna build a miniature tiki mountain. It'll be a big pile of rocks full of tropical plants, and there will be some tiki statues on it. And the one on top is gonna be sticking his tongue out real far because he a freak for real. Now the possibilities with being able to build entire structures and buildings and then move them around and rotate them in whatever way you want. As you can imagine, people are already getting really inventive with these, and I already have some ideas flowing through my brainstem, and I cannot wait to experiment further with it. The one thing I do hope they update though is currently, even at its slowest speed, this rotation is a little bit faster than I would like, and you'll kind of notice when I unpause. So I'm really hoping they add an option to lower the speed parameter to make it go even slower. Because even at the slowest setting, it's not slow enough. And the devs really have been working on this game. In the first episode of this series, I talked about how I wanted them to add the restaurant feature, so guests would pick up their food from the counter and take it instead of the table with their families. And as of last week, they've done that. We can now build full functional restaurants in Planet Coaster 2, and I think that is like one of the best and biggest updates ever. Restaurants on Planet Coaster 1 were kind of weird because it was sort of like the bathroom. They just walk into a random entrance and then I guess you're just supposed to imagine that they're inside a restaurant. And now we're able to simulate that. And let's be honest, apart from the rides, food is one of the other biggest things you do at theme parks, especially since you're there all day long. You literally have to eat. So being able to make cool themed restaurants it makes sense. Honestly, if they added waiters, busboys, and just a few more management options, you could turn this game into a restaurant simulator. But this centerpiece ended up turning out super nice. I didn't want to build it too big since the entire thing is moving, but I really try to blend it in by putting a bunch of trees. This resort is named Tropicano Moderno, so we are going to continuously lean into the tropical theming, indoors and outdoors. We're also going to put in some pools of water. I'm going to do my best to use as much nature as possible for our decoration. This resort is going to be massive. So even though we are indoors, we can still treat the stuff we're building as if we're outdoors. And I do want to restate, Planet Coaster 2 is now really worth it. When the game first came out, it was about 75% finished. And now, 5 months later, I'd say the game is 100% finished, and everything they add now is just gonna make it better and better. It seems like they're adding the scenery from Planet Coaster 1 as free updates as well, because they just added all the Plan Co 1 Western scenery to the game. And I'm really interested to see where they go from here, because the sky is the limit. Okay, we spent a lot of time on the centerpiece, but it is looking good. I felt like that was important. And now we are going to start working on some major infrastructure. We built the opening facade for this resort, but this thing is going to have a lot of depth, a lot of square footage, a lot of volume. So the main goal for today is to really shape this thing together so we can start really visualizing what the interior of this resort's going to look like. I built a very aesthetically pleasing pathway that'll take guests up to the second floor, and then I combined both halves. And what I'm gonna put in the very, very center of this resort is a large concert venue. For me personally, I think one of the funnest things you can do with your time, especially if you're on vacation, is go see a concert. So I'm gonna make that the center focal point of this resort. So if people are coming to see the concert, they can walk straight in here. And the best thing about this setup is if people travel to come see the artist, they can stay in the resort afterwards. If they have energy, they can go and do the other stuff in the resort before and after the concert. It's just gonna be the altogether place to be. And to truly make it the place to be, I asked you all in the last episode's comment question, what does this resort need to have to make it the ultimate resort? And some of the responses I got were an aquarium, a gigantic arcade, cabanas and gazebos for decoration, a fancy outdoor restaurant, which we can do that, rooftop gardens and greenhouses, that gave me some good ideas, super relaxing spas, some of y'all said a volcano surrounded with water slides, I can do that, and a water show. This is also possible. Planet Coaster 2 has an item called the Sequencer, and you can line up a bunch of stuff on the sequencer, such as lights, water fountains, fireworks, and animatronics. There's some pretty cool stuff, and I actually plan to use that feature to program a light show for our concert venue. Thank you for those suggestions though. I will definitely integrate all of those ideas into this resort. And it's never too late to give me a suggestion. Always feel free to be inspiring me down in that comment section. So when building the floor layout, I separated the general admission section for this concert venue and kept it separate from the main floor plan. That way we can have security guards that can let people in and out based on having tickets or wristbands. Or the main way to get into concerts nowadays is through QR codes on whatever app you have in your smart device. Which I do get annoyed that I have to have 10 concert apps on my phone in order to go see different concerts. Now, speaking of smart devices and apps, I'm gonna make this episode's comment question of the day, what is something that we could add into our resort that would be forward thinking and integrating of modern technology that has been invented in the past 10 to 20 years? Most tourist destinations I've been to have been built 25 to 50 years ago, so I'd like to imagine that any new construction built today would have a lot of really cool modern technological features built into it. Especially since we're trying to build something a bit more hyper-realistic. So help me get imaginative. Maybe something like there's an app on your phone and whatever food you want, you can just click a button on your phone and it'll use your location to bring it to you wherever you are in the resort. Or maybe we can develop an app that adds augmented reality so you can look at stuff in the resort through your camera phone, and we add a lot of digital decoration. Kind of like how Pokemon Go does it, but we could program a digital world around our resort that you could view through your smart device or even through VR or smart glasses. I'm not really the type of person who would want to add humanoid robots into this resort, but is there anything a humanoid robot could do that a human employee couldn't do? Because I feel like if the two work together, they might be able to extend their abilities. And real quick, may I divert your attention to a centerpiece that we're gonna put on this floating stage in the middle of our venue. I present to you the evolution of Treesus. Treesus has officially risen and given the platform he deserves. When I realized I could scale the trees to be this big, I knew that I wanted one on the stage. And later I'm gonna cover it in lights, so whenever musicians are playing on the stage, their background will look magnificent. And then I'm building this mountain behind it that's covered in waterfalls, so this might quite literally be the most beautiful concert venue ever created. Come at me, Red Rocks. And these giant steel beams are the frames to our elevator system. I'm preparing to have a bunch of elevator shafts, and I want them to be those open elevator shafts, so when you're in the elevator you can see out and look at the scenery around you, because it's gonna be beautiful around here. It's time to add those waterfalls I was talking about. And dang, I'm just so excited. This is gonna be the coolest concert arena ever. Does anybody watching know of any really beautiful concert venues? Because I honestly don't. Now my plan for this resort is to have 4 major floors, and there'll be subfloors as well. And the top floor is going to be the roof. And the roof will be a mixture of outdoor sections and greenhouses and all sorts of things. In the sections with hotel rooms, there's going to be a lot more floors because the ceilings don't need to be that high in hotel rooms. But for these more entertainment and commercial areas, I'm putting really, really high ceilings so we can go crazy with the scenery. And then on the front eastern wing, I'm going to build the outline of a luxury spa. And this will be an adults only spa, and it'll be very quiet and comforting. And the goal is just extreme relaxation. On the other side, I will mirror it with a section for kids and teenagers to hang out. That's more about having fun, so the adults and kids can separate. And then I will have both of these pools connect underground. Which, we gotta talk about pools, because that's the main gimmick for Planet Coaster 2, is pools, water slides, water parks, the whole shebang. And honestly, they did a fantastic job. And so far, I really can't find any complaints with the water park system. I feel like it's pretty awesome. But you can do pretty much anything you want with his pools. You can make them shallow, deep, change the color of the water, the tiles, make them wave pools, lights, ladders, hot tubs, they got it all. And when the game came out, the water slides were good, but the physics of the people going down them were kind of weird, but they did update that and they fixed it and made it way better. The developers have been listening very closely to the community and fixing literally every gripe. It's really, really impressive and very commendable. Like, shout outs to the developers. If any Frontier developer is watching this right now, thank you for being such just a good developer. You're crushing it right now, and I hope you're getting paid really well. One of the main reasons I decided to build a resort instead of a theme park is because I wanted to focus on the pools and water parks, and resorts usually have a lot of pools and water parks, so it just felt like the perfect mixture. Now I'm making this pool half indoors and half outdoors, and I'm gonna put a bunch of windows on the outside so there's a ton of natural light. Learning how to build well in Planet Coaster does take a lot of time, and it's kind of a work of art in a way. There's a lot of quick keys that can make you better and more proficient and faster with time. Now if you're building for your first time, I wouldn't recommend building giant things like I'm building. Like, definitely start small, but if you get the tools down, no reason you can't build stuff big like me. And also, we have our winner for the contest that we did the first episode, where I asked y'all to make art for Tropicano Materno. The winner is Janelle. We love the cute little toucan. Thank you so, so much. I will definitely put this somewhere in the build. Janelle is also the girl that made my profile picture, the little toucan. She's really good at making just cute little drawings. And I'm really trying to lean into the toucan branding, because someday I want to own my own toucan. I'm going to have to work real hard to get there because toucans are pretty expensive, but we'll make it one day. And then when I have a toucan, I'll upload tons of cute toucan videos to the internet, and that will just overall make the world a better place. Speaking of toucans, how's our toucan Tombre doing? Yum. Wait, how you making money? Wait, for real? He never told me that. Since when? Oh wait, you've been going to raves? Who's your favorite DJ? Tiger's Eye. I don't think I've heard of him before. Well, that's awesome. Maybe Tiger's Eye can perform at our future concert venue whenever this resort is done being built. Hey, cut it out. You know I'm busy. I live in Los Angeles. I gotta juggle multiple jobs to survive out here. Yo, chill. You know I gotta make these videos for the Two Clan. Fine, you really do have a point. Also, Tombre, stop ordering so much DoorDash. You know we can't afford that. Not unless more people sign up for the Attacking Toucans Patreon. Oh, that also reminds me that I need to mention that I am now sponsored by a company named Aver Media, who makes capture cards for video games, webcams, microphones, and things for streamers. So if you are looking to upgrade your streamer setup or get any equipment that you need to take your streamer or video creation journey more seriously, Use my Shopify link for AverMedia down in the description and use my code 2cans to get a discount. I'm thinking about even building an AverMedia store somewhere in this resort because hey, shopping's a fun part of vacationing too. If anybody buys anything, we'll have it shipped to their house and it'll arrive the day that they get back home. The development of the eastern front wing is turning out really nice. I'm trying to combine a lot of natural wood and stone for the aesthetic. In the next episode, I'm gonna have to mirror all this to the other side of the resort, but I'm not doing that today. It is a challenge to build a structure as large as this and to make it look not bland. I'm trying to add a decent amount of detail, but not overdo it at the same time because balance is also important. We need the feng shui. I think the number one thing that brings feng shui is having a lot of natural lighting indoors and plants. Plants everywhere. The one thing that I always spend money on when I have extra money on is extra plants because I love tropical plants and I have space for them in my house and they look so good and make me so happy, but they're expensive. They really are. But we are wrapping up our building session today. We got a lot more marked out. In the next episode, we'll finish marking out the rest of the blueprint. But this episode, we finished that opening centerpiece that spins around with the tikis on it. We marked out the concert venue and placed down trees. And we started building the eastern wing and the front spa. Also, I'm curious, have you been playing Planet Coaster 2 yourself? And if so, what are your favorite things about this game so far? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you want to buy something from AverMedia, I have a Shopify link down in the description. And I will see you in the next episode. Have a fantastic day, and may Treesus bless you.